It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk, and today I have the honor and privilege to interview the founder and CEO of Dream on 3, Brandon Lindsey. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Brandon. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to start Dream on 3?
Yeah. So, Brandon, at the time when we started Dream on 3, which was the end of 2012, early 2013, I was actually working in corporate. I was working a construction job for a company called Martin Marietta. And I had been with the company at that time probably about 14, 15 years. And so this was the last thing on my mind. I was chasing something totally different at that time. I had a definition of success, and that definition meant to climb that corporate ladder as far as I could climb it, as fast as I could climb it, and make as much money as I could make. That was it. That was success in my mind. And then there was a time in November of 2012, Brandon, where I was sitting in a conference room up at our corporate office. And I remember God just putting something on my heart and saying, hey, this isn't it. I've got something different for you. And I remember having this, I remember saying, God, I'm good right now. I'm not really looking for anything different. I'm in a good place. Things are starting to click, and I'm finally getting to see some of the fruits of all the hard work. And but it was one of these things, like, I couldn't shake it. And he laid this vision on my heart. I ended up telling my wife about it. I said, honey, you're gonna think I'm crazy. I said, but I feel like God's calling us to do this thing. And she said, I think you're crazy. But she said, if God's calling us to do it, I'm more afraid of not doing it than I am of doing it. So let's go. And so we did. And we made our first dream come true as a family in 2013.
Of course, how did you come up with the name of Dream on 3, and how did you know that you wanted to work with the sports community?
Yeah, so the name Dream on 3, the logo, the name, the entire business model was built around the concept of a sports huddle. So we wanted to show these kids that were living with some pretty difficult situations, that no matter what they were going through, that they could still live out their dreams by building a team around them. So Dream on 3 is, every dream starts with the kid putting their hand in saying, dream on 3, 1, 2, 3, dream. And so they lead their team and they lead their huddle. So that's where the name came from.
Of course, how do you connect with the sports teams and even professional athletes to make these dreams come true?
Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one, Brandon. You do this all the time, don't you? It's not easy, especially in the beginning. We didn't have these relationships. We didn't know how to get in touch with Drew Brees. We didn't know how to call, Thomas Davis or Dale Earnhardt Jr. and get a dream experience. But it was really cool. And that was where it was just cool to see God put the pieces together, because we may not know Drew Brees, but we knew somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody that knew Drew Brees. And it was just making those connections and asking and finding that people were willing to help us get connected. So it was very, very tough in the beginning, but over the last 9 years that we've been doing this, it's become easier. Now that we've got some credibility and we've done this and we know what we're doing, we're able to work with a lot more of them and get to them quicker.
Of course, what does that process look like? Do you have to connect with the PR people for those particular sports professional teams?
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes. So there's no model for this. There's no right way to do this. Brandon, we have gone through the community relations departments at some of the teams. Sometimes we've gone through an athlete's mama to get to them. So we look for every cracked window, back door, whatever we can do. We've built relationships with the agents, the sports agents. We've built relationships with the athletes themselves. We work with a lot of teams, community relations departments. And then usually once you get in there and they trust you and they know that you're going to do a good job and you're going to protect them, they'll talk to each other. And so we can lean on past relationships that we've had that can get us in the door with someone that we may not have worked with.
Of course, do you have an age gap between these people?
So our age group that we serve is 5 to 21. And that came, Brandon, because we were, when we started this thing, originally we were going to go from 5 to 18. And about 3 years into it, we had our hospital referral partners came to us and said, there's nothing out there for this age group from 18 to 21. They're not being served. They're still being treated at the pediatric hospitals and clinics, but yet they're not eligible for any of these programs. And we said, we'll take them. And so we increased that to 21, which was awesome for us.
Of course, what is it like, obviously, seeing them live out their dreams to make it be on a sports team?
There's no better feeling in the world. It's the best part of what we do. And what we do is exhausting. It's a lot of work. There's so much that goes into planning these experiences. But when you see that young child live out their dream and it come true right before your eyes, there is no better feeling in the world than that. And that piece of the experience is always going to be special. But the parts that I love is the stuff you're not planning on, like seeing a kid react to getting on a plane for the first time, or seeing a limousine pull up in front of their school and all of their classmates get to see them get into that limousine. The things that that we take for granted sometimes. We had a kid that was just blown away by flat screen TV in the hotel room. And it just gives you so much joy to see them experience these things on these experiences.
Of course, who are some of the most popular sports teams and even players that have made dreams come true?
Yeah, we've been blessed to have done this with some really big athletes. I mean, we've worked with folks, John Cena, with Steph Curry, with who else? Drew Brees, Dale Earnhardt Jr. We've done dreams with a lot of the teams, the New York Yankees, all the Boston teams have been great to us. All the teams out in Denver, Colorado, the Kroenke Sports Group and the Broncos, and all of those teams have been great to us. We have worked with almost every professional sports organization that there is in the country at some point with an athlete or the team. But yeah, we've had some big names.
What does the process take to select these candidates to make their dreams come true?
Great question. So we don't pick the dream recipients. We work with the children's hospitals and our other referral partners that are providing resources to the kids that we work with. We work with them. They're our eyes and ears, and they become our referral partners, and they tell us that they have someone that's in need of a dream experience and has a sports interest. And then we work with them through that process to see if it works, if it fits for the program, and if they qualify. And then we do all that before we ever talk to the family or the kid. So it's a pretty good process. You can't go online and apply for a dream experience. You got to come through one of those referral partners, and they've been great to us.
Of course, when the kid makes the dream, what does the process look like behind the scenes of making that dream come true?
Oh, it's awesome. We've got such a great team of people that work all the time, just trying to all the details. And so as soon as we know that we've got a new dream recipient and it's a go, then everyone heads off into their own direction. We've got a team that's working on logistics, that's planning hotels and tickets and access and timeline and dinners and meals. And then we've got a team that's working on flights. We've got a team that's coordinating a send-off at that kid's school. We've got a marketing team that's putting all the stuff together so that we can announce it and get people engaged and start building that team. It's just an incredible team. And Brandon, that's what I tell folks all the time is that it takes a team to pull these things off, just like what we tell our dream kids. Like, you've got to build that team, and we've got that. But yeah, they work so hard to make sure that every detail is covered and that these families don't have to think about a thing while they're on their trip.
Of course, from the time that the recipient gets chosen, how long does it take before their dream actually becomes true?
It varies. So it depends on the dream. Some of the some of the dreams that we've done, we only had a few weeks to pull off because of the timing. It depends on the athlete, or if it's a special event, we have to plan around that. So yeah, we've done dreams in a matter of weeks, and we've done some that took us over a year to plan. So it really depends. But it's cool to see the team come together and make it happen when we're challenged with just this much time to pull it off.
Of course, do you allow the Dreamers to pick former professional athletes such as Michael Jordan and Tim Tebow, or only current players such as Stephen Curry, LeBron James?
Oh no, they can. Yeah, if their dream is to meet a retired player or former player, then yeah, we can definitely do that. We had. I'm trying to think of an example for that. We work a ton with Tim Tebow, which Tim Tebow, I don't know if he's ever retired from anything. He's still full speed ahead on everything he does. He's always into something. But yeah, we've done a lot of dreams with him. He's been fantastic.
Of course, have you had anybody pick players that are women athletes such as Alex Morgan, Sabrina Ionescu, and Danica Patrick?
We have, yeah. We've got a lot of girls. You would think with what we do, it would be a lot of guys in football and basketball. We've got a ton of girls that are loving sports, and they've got some great role models and athletes out there that they want to meet. We've done a dream with Alex Morgan. We've done a dream with Simone Biles. We've done dreams in the golfing community, the Corda sisters, LPGA, and we've done, who else have we done? Katie Ledecky, Olympic swimmer. So yeah, we've done a ton with female athletes.
Of course, what is that like, obviously seeing them with those typical athletes such as Stephen Curry, Michael Jordan, versus those not normal people like Alex Morgan getting picked?
So yeah, I like to see, and I think the athletes, everyone knows Michael Jordan, everybody knows Steph Curry, and so you would anticipate those coming in pretty regularly. But it's fun to do a dream experience with an athlete that we've never worked with before. We did a dream experience with Webb Simpson, PGA golfer. And while we were on it, he was so good and so engaging with the family. It was great. And I asked him, I said, how often have you done this? He said, this is the first time. So I think these experiences end up meaning just as much to the athletes as they do the kids sometimes. I think they enjoy it just as much as the families do.
What is that experience like, obviously seeing those professional athletes, as you said, having that first time experience?
It makes you feel good. It makes you realize first off, it makes you realize what all they have to go through. They get asked for a lot. Someone's always asking them for their time, for a picture, for an autograph, to do something, and for them to give back and to actually give up their own personal time. I mean, we've had some athletes like Thomas Davis invited one of our dream recipients to his home for the day and just hung out with him. And they had a meal at their family table with the family around. Just opened up his home. Josh Norman did the same thing. He invited a kid into his home, and they played video games and called people on his cell phone. And so those are really cool to see these athletes really giving back, and they're good. They're good people.
Of course, during your time of Dream on 3, have you ever had any UFC fighters get picked?
We have not. We have not had. I hope we do. That would be really cool. I would love to see that. We haven't done anything with UFC. The closest we've gotten to UFC would probably be, we did have a kid that wanted to meet Chuck Norris. And so he got to meet Chuck Norris, and he actually got a black belt from Chuck Norris. So Chuck Norris made him a black belt on his dream experience, which was pretty cool. Not a lot of people can say that.
What is that like, obviously, going to the racetracks and getting to meet drivers such as Kevin Harvick?
NASCAR's been great to us. And as you could imagine, I mean, we're headquartered here in the Carolinas, in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's home of NASCAR, and they have embraced us since the beginning. Our first dream experience was with NASCAR. It was with Darrell Waltrip, young man with autism, wanted to meet Darrell Waltrip and say, boogity, 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 let's go racing. And so that was our first dream. And ever since that, NASCAR's just really embraced us. We've done dreams with I'm trying to think of all the drivers: Dale Jr., Jeff Gordon, Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Bubba Wallace, Chase Elliott. You name it, we've worked with them in the NASCAR community, and it's great. They're good people, and they care, and they really invest time and energy into our kids.
Of course, with being in the Carolinas, how many people do you typically service in the Carolinas versus other areas?
Yeah, so we just started expanding, and so now we've got a chapter, pretty new chapters in Georgia, a chapter that serves Virginia, Maryland, and DC, and a chapter in Denver, Colorado. So those are fairly new within the last year or two. Carolinas has been our home for 7-8 years now. So we'll do, on the Dream experiences, we'll do somewhere around 35 of those in a year, just in the Carolinas. And now each of the different chapters are beginning to build that too. Now, that's just our Dream experience program. It doesn't include our other programs like our Daydreams, our school, our high school programs, or our college programs. But just the big over-the-top Dream experience, we'll probably do over 30 of those here.
Of course, can you take me through what a typical Daydream looks like versus a Dream experience looks like?
Yeah, so a Dream experience is we've got a Dream recipient that says, my dream is to do this. And we come in, we say, we're going to make that dream come true for you. And we include the entire immediate family. So if it's mom, dad, brothers, sisters, and those usually span the course of 3 or 4 days. If the Dream experience is to go meet LA Galaxy, then we'll plan a 3-4 day trip, and the experience will be around meeting the team, meeting the players, and going to the game. But then we'll build in all these other activities. So that's a big event, a big experience. On the Daydreams, this is cool because this is where we get to partner with other organizations that are also serving our kids. For instance, the Down Syndrome Association, Autism Association. We work with a lot of Rolling Hornets basketball team here in Charlotte. So we'll come alongside of them and we'll say, we want to do something really cool for all of your kids. So it's a 1-day event, but with a lot of kids. We had a cheerleading group, special needs cheerleading group that we took, and they got to perform on the center court at Charlotte Hornets game. But we took them through hair and makeup. They got pampered up. We had a big party. They got dressed up and got to cheer with the cheerleaders at the game.
Of course, in the Dream experience, do the participants get to sign a 1-day contract and get to try on the jerseys and actually feel like you're a player?
Yeah, sometimes we have. We actually had, I'm trying to think, that it doesn't happen every time, but we had one, Timothy Brookshire, I think, signed a 1-day contract with the Dallas Cowboys. He was a Cowboy for a day. We had another Dream recipient, Brandon, I can't think of his last name right now, but Brandon signed a 1-day contract with the Charlotte Hornets. So yeah, it does happen from time to time. It's pretty cool.
Of course, for yourself, what is that like, getting to see them sign that 1-day contract and putting on that jersey and feeling like a player from 1 day?
Oh, they're a rock star for a day. They own it. It's fun to see it. We send a photographer and a videographer with each dreamer, and so they feel like they've got their own personal paparazzi following them around all day long. They're signing autographs, they're getting their pictures made, they're being videoed the whole time. So they really, it's what you would want. You want them to feel totally, you want them to feel special, like they are one of the players, and they do for the day.
Of course, how is it like coordinating with colleges for the Collegiate Train Day Experience?
Yeah, the Collegiate Dream Team and the Junior Dream Team programs, Brandon, that's some of my favorite programs that we have, because we go into the schools and we identify a group of student leaders, whether they be athletes or, at the college level, in the Greek community, or from the different colleges within the school. Well, they assemble a team and they identify someone in their community that's in need of a dream experience. And we walk alongside of them through the process as they plan it. They raise awareness, they bring the school together and do all this support, they fundraise, and at the end of it, that team makes a dream come true for someone, one of their own. And so you take a program that was designed to impact one, and now you've impacted thousands in the process, and all these classmates and students coming together to do something really special from one of their own.
What are some of the differences between the Collegiate Dream and just a regular Dream Day experience?
So the experience can be the same. The Collegiate Dream Team experience, like what the kid still has a sports dream. Now, one difference could be that it's the college, right? So it could be the University of Alabama Collegiate Dream Team may find a kid that's just a huge Alabama fan. And so they'll build an experience within that college and those sports teams for that kid. And Georgia Tech did a great one. Georgia Tech has been an amazing partner of ours, but their Collegiate Dream Team found someone in their community that loves Georgia Tech sports. And so they made him a VIP honorary guest at every sport event. So they had a basketball game, a baseball game, and a football game, and he was the VIP for all of those. So that's how they look a little bit different. But, and then the fact that it's the students planning it out instead of just our dream team doing it.
Of course, with the collegiate ones, what are some of the schools that you offer, and what are some of the schools you plan on in the future offering?
Yeah, we're really doubling down on this Collegiate Dream Team. This is a program that I could really see us doing across the country. Our goal right now, we've got about 13 to 14 colleges that are signed up for the 22-23 school year. I would love to see us double that, or by next year. I'd love to see us have one college at every conference across the country. It's powerful, and the students are amazing, but it's also doing something that we really didn't plan on. And it's so much more than just making a dream come true for a very special person. And we're teaching these communities the importance of inclusion and awareness and diversity and acceptance and just all these different skills and values that we need to be learning. Like, we're able to do that through those programs. So we're gonna go big on that program.
Of course, how has it been like balancing family life and obviously running a nonprofit sports disability organization?
That's I don't have a lot of balance right now. It's all just merged into one. So I still work a full-time job. I'm still in my construction job, and I tell people I'm here today in my office at Hoopa Grading Company. I tell people all the time, construction feeds my family, but Dream on 3 feeds my soul. I've never taken a dime off Dream on 3. I've never taken a salary. I never wanted to, and I've been blessed to be in a position to where I haven't had to. But it's, as far as balancing one or the other, it's not that. It's just integrating them both, because now this is just as much a part of my life as anything.
Of course, what are some of your future plans with Dream on 3?
So we got big plans. We're still dreaming. And we've got a vision of 10-10-10. So I told you we started expanding. And in 2018, we determined we cast this vision of 10 chapters, 10 years, and $10 million in annual revenue. And Brandon, we're well on our way to doing that. We've got, I told you we've got 4 chapters right now, and we've already got pins in the maps on different places that we want to go. So it's exciting. It's exciting to see the growth and this thing start to spread across the country.
Of course, for my listeners that want to get involved in Dream on 3 and obviously become a part of a chapter, what is the qualifications?
Yeah, so right now, as the positions that we're hiring for in the chapters are programmers. And these are people that just go out and introduce all of our programs into that community, our dream experiences, daydreams, collegiate dream teams, and junior dream teams. And then we've got Dreambox program too. But so we're hiring programmers that can go out and just serve those communities, love them, execute these programs, and introduce them. So yeah, go to our website. You'll see open positions that we've got, and just know that we're continuing to add those all the time as we continue to grow.
What are some of the sports teams that you plan on having dreams come true in the near future?
Let me think. We've got a really cool dream coming up here. I'm trying to think of what's next. We've got Boston Red Sox coming up. we've got a dream coming up, Brandon, with the NFL Hall of Fame. So out in Canton, Ohio, that's going to be first time we've done the NFL Hall of Fame. But I'm excited to see that one, and a young man that is very deserving that's going to go out there and experience that.
Of course, when speaking of football, of course, with them being in the off season, do you have many people having dreams come true during their off season, such as footballs in their off season right now?
Yeah, and that's a good point. So off season is a little bit, we like doing dreams in off season because you've got a little bit easier access to the guys, to the players. And so on the football dreams, being able to catch them when they're training, they've got more time to spend with the kid. It's a little less chaotic than game day. Game day's tough because they're working and they're so busy and they're focused on that game. But during camp and training and preseason, they're a little bit more accessible and they've got more time to spend. So we like doing dreams during the off season.
What advice would you give future people looking to start their own nonprofit organizations, such as you, helping dreams come true?
Brandon, I don't know if I'm the right one to give advice. I would just tell you, because I didn't know anything about nonprofit organizations when we started. I knew that I had a dream that I wanted to see this and we wanted to make it come true. So I was asked to talk to a group of college or high school graduates about 2 or 3 months ago, and I gave a talk called Dream It, Do It. And I just talked about, it's that easy, right? It's that simple. It's not easy, but it's that simple that there's a difference between simple and easy. Simple is clear, easy. This is not easy. This is hard work. But if we've got a dream, you got to know what that dream is first off. What is the one thing that you would love to do that you are passionate about? Figuring out what that is, figuring out why you want to have that dream come true, who's going to impact from it, and then just going at it. Not worried about, we talk to people all the time that have dreams and they don't act on them. They don't move. They're not willing to take that first step. And I call that dream purgatory, right? These dreams just hang out in this place and they never come to life because someone wasn't willing to take that first step. And I will tell you, we didn't have this all figured out. Matter of fact, we didn't have any of it figured out. We didn't know what we were doing, B. But it was, we knew that we were being called to do this, and we knew that we needed to take that first step. So we had to surrender first, and then we had to build a team. And those were the first 2 steps. Like, we surrendered control, and we were just trusting that this was going to take care of itself and that God was leading us in the direction that he wanted us to go. And then we started building a team.
What advice would you give people that are looking to work in the sports community and help build dreams such as you did?
Yeah, I would just say the biggest piece of advice I can give looking back over our journey is first listen. Listen to what is the need out there. When we got into this, we thought, I mean, really, as a baseline, the only ones out there was a big organization doing this kind of stuff, but there was only one other organization doing it at this scale. And so we thought, all right, we're just going to do something very, very similar to that because we didn't know much more about it. But as we got in, we heard from our hospitals, we said, look, the kids that are dealing with terminal and life-threatening conditions, they have programs available to them. But there's a population of kids that don't and haven't had access to this kind of program. And so we heard that and we said, we're going to press into that space. And then fast forward another 3 years, we heard, hey, that 18 to 21-year-old age group, they don't have anything. And we said, we're going to press into that space. And then just a few years ago, Brandon, they came back to us and they said, nobody is touching kids dealing with mental health challenges. Like, nobody's offering this kind of program to them. And we said, we are. And so we pressed into that. So I would just say that listen to what the needs are. Listen to where you can serve and then press into it.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you on social media?
Yeah, so visit us at dreamon3.org. So that's dreamon3.org. And there's links to all of our social channels. I always tell people to go spend a little bit of time on our YouTube page because I could talk about Dream on 3 for days. Brandon, but you could go watch a 3-minute video of one of these dream experiences and see exactly what all this is about. And it does a much better job of explaining it than I ever could.
That's great. Thank you again, Brandon Lindsey, for your interview, and best luck in your future as you continue Dream on 3.
Well, Brandon, thank you so much, and hats off to you for pursuing your dream. I've listened to a few of your podcasts, and I think I mentioned to you earlier, I even listened to one that you were being interviewed, and you have done a phenomenal job. So hats off to you. Keep chasing your dream, and wish you much success.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Brandon Lindsey, for your interview, and best of luck in your future with Dream on 3.
Thanks, Brandon.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.